And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene, our statewide show here on Cox Your View. It's our college football preview special for you. Got a great show lined up for you. Of course, it all starts for our Big Four this weekend. Here's the schedule for them. Starting actually on Thursday night, Oklahoma State opens the local season for us. They'll be hosting Tennessee Martin at 6:30 on ESPN+. Then the other three teams play on Saturday, starting at 3:15 on the SEC Network, Arkansas. Razorbacks at home hosting Alabama A&M. Then Oklahoma starts its season against Illinois State. 5 p.m. at the SEC. By the way, OU paid Illinois State $660,000 to come play the Sooners. And Abilene Christian will be at Tulsa to wrap things up. Saturday evening at 7 p.m., the debut of Coach Trey Lamb, first-year head coach for the University of Tulsa. This week we'll feature our college football preview show, including our insider from OU, James Hale. Robert Allen, on the sidelines for a quarter of a century at Oklahoma State. He has the Cowboys. Michael Peters, the TU beat writer, the Tulsa World, gives the Golden Hurricane outlook. And then the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, has Arkansas football. First, though, it's our hot topics. Oklahoma State University Athletic Director Chad Weiberg is recovering after successful emergency open heart surgery earlier this month at the Oklahoma Heart Hospital in Oklahoma City. The 6-hour procedure replaces aortic valve, a root, and part of his aorta. Here's the twist. His surgeon was Dr. John Randolph, who played on OU's 1974 and 1975 Sooners national championship football teams. Right before the surgery, Weiberg said he gave his surgeon an OSU cap, saying, "Make me feel a little better if there was a little bit of orange in the operating room." Sooners surgeon put on the orange cap, did the surgery perfectly, and Weiberg later joked, "I confirm I bleed orange." All the best to Chad Weiberg in his recovery. Southeastern Conference is in an attempt to improve its strength of schedule, has announced that starting next year, 2026 season, each team will now play a 9-game league schedule with this model. Each team will have 3 permanent annual rivals. Obviously, for Texas, OU, they'll keep that one. Then who knows? Maybe that Arkansas, Missouri, LSU, or Florida. But we do know for sure OU Texas stays on the schedule. Then it'll be 6 rotating SEC opponents. Ensures that all 16 teams will play each other at least once every 2 years, home and home every 4 years. Teams must also play at least one Power 4 opponent each season. SEC will continue to use a single standing structure without divisions, but also without finally those cupcake games. There's nothing quite like Friday night lights in small towns and big cities. The 300-plus Oklahoma high school football teams kicking off the 2025 season this week, including a must-see Thursday night game, August 28th, TU's Chapman Stadium, the Battle of the Burbs. It's a Class 6A1 Big School State Championship rematch. Bixby against Owasso. Bixby winning in overtime on a 2-point conversion, 43-42. Last time they met. Its 3rd straight championship and its 10th gold ball trophy in the past 11 seasons. Oklahoma high school football underway. United Soccer League's Western Conference first-place team, FC Tulsa, extended its club record unbeaten streak to 14 with a 1-0 victory Saturday night over Orange County SC. The last team, by the way, that beat Tulsa, that was back on May the 3rd. Tulsa got the only goal of the match in the 24th minute on a header by Camille Andahar. This Saturday, FC Tulsa plays at the United Soccer League's defending champions, the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Then they come back to One Oak Field in 2 weeks, September 6th, to host Birmingham Legion FC. By the way, that's the team's only home match for the entire month of September. Tulsa Drillers host the Corpus Christi Hooks this week, the 26th through 31st, next to last home stand of the 2025 Texas League AA baseball season. Every game in the series will be a night game at One Oak Field. First 5 at 7 p.m. The Sunday, August 31st finale at 6 p.m. A massive fireworks show to follow. Drillers, by the way, in a position to make the Texas League championship. They start Tuesday's home series with a 29-22 record. In second place, one behind the first half champion Springfield Cardinals that have already clinched the playoff spot. But they do have a 3-game lead over third-place teams Arkansas and Northwest Arkansas. And in just its 3rd season of indoor professional football, the Tulsa Oilers have been named the IFL's Franchise of the Year, with also earning the fan-based championship belt for the highest attendance throughout the 25-25 season at the BOK Center, averaging over 9,300 fans a game with a season high of 15,113 on June 14th. Oilers had their best season at 10-5, including a home record of 6-2, earning the team's first playoff appearance. Reminder, season tickets are on sale now for 2026, and congratulations, FC Tulsa owner Andy Skirdo, head coach Marvin Jones, his staff, and the rest of the Oilers team. We'll come back to start our 2025 college football preview show with the Big Four after we take this first time out.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Well, we start our 2025 college football preview show with the Oklahoma Sooners insider, the editor of Die Hard Sooner Report, and the main writer for OU Football, the Football Brainiacs. He's been covering the Sooners since, 1975. That's just a year after I got here. James Hale. James, good to have you back with us, my friend. And exciting season. A lot of question marks about this OU football team. What's James Hale's take on the Sooners of 2025?
Well, they've had a great training camp. And the training camp has led me to believe that this football team will be as good as maybe I thought they might be with the talent influx that they've had. The addition of Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer on offense has given us credence to think that the offense is going to be really, really good. You know, last year the offense was the reason why OU went 6-7 last year. They could have won a couple of more games if they would have had wide receivers and an offensive line, even with the freshman quarterbacks. That would have helped those guys, right? And they would have won more games last year. But, you know, it is what it is. And Brent made the right moves by going out and getting Ben Arbuckle, who's considered a young Lincoln Riley, as an offensive coordinator. And that's a good thing. You may not like Lincoln, what he did going to USC, but as an offensive coordinator, he was really, really good. He brings in a quarterback in John Mateer that everybody that sees him, plays against him, watches him, believes he's a cut above. In the Heisman Trophy list, he's now one of the top 10 Heisman Trophy candidates. He's coming off a year at Washington State where he played really well. So it's not like he's a rookie in college football. He knows college football. He's played in college football. So I think everything is lining up that Oklahoma is going to be a good football team. They've got a good defense, a defense that has been challenged by this offense in training camp. We're bringing in Tate Sandell and Ulrich at punter. I think they've got the punting game. Jaden Ott's a running back from Cal that they got that looks like he can be a great kickoff returner. Bowen and Ott and Satania are back at the punting return game. So all three phases look like they're going to be pretty good for OU, and I think OU is going to have a good football team this year.
Well, James, someone who agrees with you is Phil Steele. Of course, he's the editor of probably the best preseason magazine. Here's what Phil Steele told us he thinks the Sooners ranked this year, 2025.
Yeah, very high in Oklahoma. In fact, when I got off the phone talking to Coach Venables, I said to myself, boy, that's a playoff caliber roster there. And, you know, last year they played a brutal schedule. They only had 3 SEC home games last year. Played all the big boys in the SEC, and their defense still held opponents to 87 yards per game below their season average, the 6th best mark in the country. There's no doubting the Oklahoma defense this year, led by R. Mason Thomas at the defensive end spot, Kendall Daniels. They're just loaded. In fact, one of the top defenses. Meanwhile, offensively, that's where they struggled last year, but they had 0 returning starters on the offensive line. At one point, they lost their top 5 receivers due to injury, and of course, the offense struggled struggled with a lack of an offensive line and receiving core. That's why Jackson Arnold had such a tough year last year. Well, this year, the offensive line's much more veteran. Bill Benbaugh is still back on the offensive line. I think they're going to go from a weakness to a strength. You look at the receiving core, and I'm going to bring up Clemson for a minute. 2 years ago, Clemson had a banged-up receiving core. Cade Klubnik had just 19 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions. Well, last year, he got his receivers back from injury. They were a much upgraded receiving core. All of a sudden, Klubnik had 36 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions. Tells you what a receiving core can do for you. And I do think they actually go from a weakness to a strength this year. I have them as a top 35 receiving core. Then you look at the running back core. I like Javonte Barnes, Taylor Tatum, but they had in Jay Knott, who was the best running back in the Pac-12 2 years ago. He was banged up last year. And then adding in John Mateer to the whole mix, a guy that can hurt you with both his legs and his arms. Great success at Washington State last year. They've got Washington State's offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle coming in. So now you've got a potent offense to go with an excellent defense. And they only have 3 true SEC road games this year. One of them's Tennessee, one South Carolina. I think those fall in the winnable category. I actually think Oklahoma's got a chance of going from 6-7 to making the playoff this year.
James, do you agree with Phil Steele? Number one surprise team in the nation.
Well, I could see that. I really could. I think OU is going to be a really good football team. Now, they've got a monster schedule, and that scares a lot of people into saying that OU could be 10-2. But I could see OU being 10-2, and I could see OU being 9-3 and 8-4 too. But that's still a pretty good year, right? And I think that if OU doesn't get a bunch of injuries and they play up to their potential, and Mateer is who we think he's going to be, and if Arbuckle is as good as we think that they're going to be, and the offense becomes an offense that is feared across college football and an offense that everybody has to game plan for, then I think OU's got a chance to be really good. So I think Phil could be right, and I think Phil does a great job. The homework they put in on that magazine, Chris, is pretty amazing, right? And he was bragging on Brent because Brent spent a little over an hour with him, and most coaches it's 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But Brent gave him everything that he needed, including an interview with Mateer and Arbuckle. And so Phil still really likes Oklahoma right now.
Who are the players to watch? Let's start on defense first. The strength of the Sooners, who held opponents last year to under 90 yards of the usual, and they ranked number 6 nationally last season.
Yeah, they're going to be good again. They lose Billy Bowman and they lose Danny Stutzman. All right, those are 2 good players that look like they're going to start in the National Football League. So those guys were real deals, right? So, but R. Mason Thomas is back at defensive end. When he decided to come back, and Dominic Williams, when he decided to come back at defensive tackle, when Grayson Halton decided to come back, OU then thought they were going to be really good on defense. This defense is good where it needs to be, and that's up front. Phil has OU rated the number 1 defensive line in the country in college football. I agree. They're the best in the SEC, and there's good defensive lines in the SEC. So when everybody talks about how you've got to build your team to play in the SEC, one thing you got to be good at is on the defensive front and the offensive front. And I think OU is good in both spots. Then at linebacker, you lose Stutzman, but you have Kip Lewis back. Kip's a captain this year. Kip is actually, behind Stutzman, was the second leading tackler on the team last year. He's a really good player. He's now 227 pounds. This is a guy that came to OU at 197 and he couldn't gain weight, Chris. And now he's at 227 and can still run. He looks good. Kobe McKenzie, Sammy Asamigo, and then Kendall Daniels from Oklahoma State. Looks like this is going to be a good linebacking core. And Daniels will probably be that cheetah where he can rush and do a lot of things. And then in the secondary, I think they're good. Robert Spears Jennings is back at the safety spot. Peyton Bowen is healthy. He was bothered all last year with a turf toe. Gentry Williams is back. Gentry is a pro football player if he can stay healthy. Now, 2 shoulder surgeries, and here he is trying to come back and play at the cornerback spot, but he's really, really good. And then we'll see who starts at the other corner. There's 4 or 5 guys vying for that. But talking with Jalen Valai the other day, he thinks they're all really good and have a chance to be good players. So I like the defense. I think it's really good.
Of course, the big questions on offensive line, and we never had a chance to see what the receivers were like last year with all the injuries. What are your thoughts on the offense?
Well, let's start in the offensive line. Those guys that had to play under fire are back. So Heath Ozita and Logan Hallen are back. Logan's liable to be the right tackle with Jacob Sexton. Jacob Sexton, who has started off and on through his 3 years at OU, was out for a little bit with a concussion. He's back. I think he'll start at left tackle with the freshman Michael Fasusi behind him. Then I think Ozeta, who started last year at left guard, is going to be backed by Eddie Pierre-Louis, who pushed Ozeta throughout training camp. Troy Everett will be the center, and, he's been named the team captain. I love Troy. He's a guy that was undersized last year at 297 pounds. Chris, he weighs 315 right now, and he's not like me. He's a flat belly. He's exactly how you want to look, and he's a good-looking player. Then Fabetsi Nawawu as that right guard with another freshman, Ryan Foje, and maybe a redshirt freshman and Danny Akaminiman behind them. And then you have, I think, Hallen at right tackle. Derek Simmons also was knocked out a little bit with a concussion protocol. He's back. He could win the job, but I think they'll go with Hallen. And, you have Isaiah Dent. So I've named a bunch of players up there. And they have a bunch of players they think are good players. And so I think that's going to be a good unit. Now, wide receiver, the disappointing thing, Chris, is that the Gibsons haven't really practiced yet. Giovanni Gibson was the best player in the spring, then got hurt about the 12th practice, and he's not really engaged yet. He hasn't even suited up. I think they're going to suit him up this week. We may find out from Brent this week that they have. Whether or not he'll play, I don't know. They hope he's back from Michigan. Giovanni Gibson, who has had a torn ACL back in the spring of last year, or 2 years ago, then tweaked it in the summer. And so, he missed all of spring. And then in the summer, he was okay a little bit, but he hasn't been able to suit up yet. But the other guys, Jermichael Carter, Isaiah Satania, Dirk's back. So they've got a number of guys that I think that are going to be good players, that I think will be good. The Lewis Carter, who's a kid from Chakotah, is going to be a good player. Elijah Carter, I think he's going to be a good player. He has been a surprise freshman. So they've got 5 or 6 or 7 guys that they can play with. Zion Kearney's another guy that I think they can play with, that I think are going to be really good players. And I think these guys will, hold up, and they've got a number of guys. And Mateer is going to help both the offensive line and receiver group. And the offensive line, he'll make calls for that group. And at receiver, well, he'll make sure that those guys are playing and playing well and getting out in the count. Now, Deion Burks has had a great camp. Burks has been when he decided to come back, that gave OU a bell cow. This guy's an NFL player. He would get drafted in the middle of the draft if he had to come out. He might get drafted higher. He could be a big-time player. And he and Satania inside, that could be a duo that could cause fits in college football.
James, thanks always for joining us. OU a 5-touchdown favorite at Illinois State on Saturday. Kick things off the season. And I appreciate your inside look, and have a great season. James, thanks so much, buddy.
Hey, thank you, Chris, and I've enjoyed it. Anytime you need me, let me know, man.
All right, next, Oklahoma State Cowboys have Sideline reporter for 25 seasons. Robert Allen is next on our Oklahoma Sports Scene College Football Preview show. Stay with us.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
Back on Oklahoma Sports Scene for our 2025 college football preview show, and with the guy who knows it all about Oklahoma State, our good friend Robert Allen. 25 years as sideline reporter for the Cowboys. Robert, in your 25 seasons covering Oklahoma State football, have you ever had this many questions coming into a season?
No, this is a one-of-a-kind deal, Chris. I don't think in the annals of high school, college, even the National Football League, we've ever seen a team have an all-new coaching staff, with the exception of the head coach, and as many as 60 new players on the team that weren't there a year ago. It's got to be the most magnanimous turnaround personnel and coaching-wise in the history of the game.
Now, before looking ahead, let's look back. What happened last year? I mean, Robert, I still talking 3-9, 0-9 in the Big 12. Last of 16 teams.
Yeah, I'm trying to wash that completely from my memory. And that's why Thursday's game's important. The last time I did my job, it was in Boulder, Colorado, and it was 52-0, which is tough to think about. But you know what? It's hard to put a finger on. But, Chris, what I think I learned last year is college football is meant to be a 5-year process. And there were a lot of 6-7-year guys, including the quarterback. And, hey, Alan Bowman did great work for Oklahoma State the year before. And I'm not putting all of last season on Alan Bowman. You can't. The offensive line was a bunch of veteran guys. And you know what? They didn't do their job. And the only thing I can put together with that, Chris, is that college football is meant to be a 5-year deal. And when you get past the 5-year deal, you have guys check out. I thought there was complacency, and I thought there were guys that got bored. And especially after you lose several games and all your dreams are washed away, it's your last year. You've been doing this for, in some cases, 6 and 7 years. I just thought it came apart at the seams. So that's what I'm going to take away from it.
All right, let's look ahead now. Coach Gundy had not announced his starting quarterback as of the start of this week when we taped this show. We know Thursday night for sure, but what's your best guess, Robert, for the starting QB for the Cowboys?
I mean, if I have to guess, I'm going to go with Zane Flores. Yeah. But both quarterbacks will play, and I'm in the camp, and I know it's an unpopular camp to be in. I'm in the camp of I want a 2-quarterback system. I think this reminds me a lot of Mason Rudolph and J.W. Walsh.
Right.
Mason was the main quarterback, but if it was short yardage, if it was goal line, JW was a guy to come in. And the good thing was JW could throw the ball. So if you were a defense, even though it was the running quarterback, you still had to respect the fact JW had an arm and could throw the football. And here's the thing with Zane. If you think he's the throwing quarterback, you're wrong. He's a 4.6 40 guy. Oh. He can run. The difference in him and Zane, or in him and Haas is a 4.4 guy that was a 10.6 100-meter guy in track. And Chris, he could be in Dancing with the Stars. He's got moves. He can dance around and make you miss. I think we're going to see with Haas Haney the best running quarterback in the history of Oklahoma State. And I go back to Brent Blackman. I go back to Zach Robinson. Certainly, we mentioned J.W. Walsh and Spencer Sanders, Taylor Cornelius. All those guys could run. Haas, I think, runs better than any of them.
Well, one thing for sure, Oklahoma State has a great legacy of receivers and running backs. How do things look this season?
Running back's a really strong room. In fact, when the depth chart comes out, and I think they're going to release one today, there will be 4 oars on it. That tells you what you need to know. 4 oars means 5 players.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of running backs. Wide receiver, it's okay, but I think it's going to be a process during the season, really of discovering who the go-to guys are. There is a slot receiver, Sam Jackson the fifth, that is a big game breaker. He's very athletic. Used to be a run pass quarterback. I think he'll be a big play guy. As far as the rest of the receivers, kind of need to see him in game action.
And the offensive line, again, that's always been the big question, it seems, in Stillwater.
You know what? I don't think it's going to be a question. That's one of the groups that I think is going to be dramatically better. I mean, it's an all-new crew, and it needed to be. That group last year, and of that group, it looks like Dalton Cooper may make the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's not like that group didn't. I just think they got disinterested. I think they lost interest in what they were doing. This group, love Austin Kowicki, who's a veteran. Love the 2 transfer portal guys that came in, Bob Schick and Markel Samuel. Noah McKinney has really come along. He's going to be a big part of it. And then Kason Carpenter, who transferred over from Tulsa, he's going to be the starting center. He's a kid that really wanted to be here to begin with, and he's pretty motivated. So I like the offensitive line. That's not one of the positions I question.
Go to the defense now, Robert. And, of course, this is the unit that lost some pretty good team leaders.
Yeah, but you lost them last year early in the year. Colin Oliver was done after week 2 against Arkansas, and Nick Martin was done after week 5 against Kansas State. And the defense was totally different when those guys were out of it. And there's a good reason. I mean, Colin's in Green Bay on the PUP list trying to get healthy. Nick Martin's going to play for the 49ers and was a high draft pick, third round draft pick, higher than anybody thought he would go. I love the defense. I love all the transfers. I like what Todd Grantham's brought to the table. They're very much a NFL style of defense, attacking. Got a lot of packages, but I think the kids understand it. And then, Chris, I talked about the running backs having, 5 guys on the depth chart that could play. The cornerback position, there are 7 corners that I've seen this spring. Some of them came in as transfers. The top 2 that are going to start are guys who've been here, Cam Smith and Cale Smith. 7 corners that I think could be starters. So I think the absolute strongest position on the team is out on the perimeter at corner. And if you can be strong out there, that allows you to do some things in the middle of your defense where you can get kind of cute, get aggressive, blitz, do a lot of packages. And that's what Todd Grantham wants to do.
Cowboys have won at least 8 games in 11 of the past 17 seasons. They're projected to win 6 games this season. What are Robert Allen's projections for your 25th season of this Oklahoma State football team for 2025?
I'm not picking 8. Okay. I think there's a great chance they get bowl eligible and win 6 in the comeback. I think it could be more than 6. It could be 8. But right now, I think I'm gonna fall on the side of, being careful and conservative with the prediction and hoping that you underpromise and overproduce.
Robert Allen, 25 seasons, the Sidelines, Oklahoma State. Look for you again this year on the Sideline. Robert, thanks for joining us on Oklahoma Sportscene. Appreciate it, my friend.
Chris, I love you, man. Good luck with the football season.
All right, buddy. We'll come right back now with Tulsa, new head football coach Trey Lamb, and Michael Peters, the Tulsa World, gives us all the insiders information right after we take this time out.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
Well, now to preview the University of Tulsa's 2025 football season with new head coach Trey Lamb. Welcoming the Tulsa Royals' Michael Peters, his 33rd season covering college football. The Golden Hurricane, after 3 straight losing seasons, 3-9 last year. Welcome the new head coach Trey Lamb. And Michael, I have to say, we were both at his press conference on Monday, and he's got a lot of enthusiasm, and he's really energized the TU fan base and looks like the team as well.
Yeah, he does not lack for confidence, and so that has sort of been his calling card throughout the last 8 months since he's been on the job. And so that's going to be the interesting thing. It's you have to win to maintain that level of confidence. And so it's going to be interesting to see how he puts it all together. It's a tough schedule. Abilene Christian's a tough opener. And so to maintain that enthusiasm, they're going to have to, win some of these games early on. And that's going to be a challenge. And I think Saturday's opener is going to be a challenge. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, he's made all the right moves, checked all the boxes. I've always said Tulsa it's a baby kissing job. And what I've always meant by that is that you have to be out in the community. You have to be engaged. You have to, coaches have egos, but you have to kind of check that at the door a little bit when you're the Tulsa head football coach, because you have to do a lot of the, public interaction, kind of be your own best PR man if you're the Tulsa football coach and men's and women's basketball. And he's done all of those things. He is, at all the, meeting with donors, playing golf with people. He was out last week speaking to the freshman class on TU's campus. I was told today that he went and did another kind of rah-rah speech for the cheerleaders and band. And so he's really engaged so far on campus. And like I say, if his team's as good as he is enthusiastic, then it's going to be a great year.
Well, let's talk about this Golden Hurricane football team. It starts, as always, with all teams at the quarterback spot. They have one of the best ones returning of all our Big Four area teams. Kirk Francis, local kid, and it sounds like he's ready to take over his second season.
Yeah, I think he's kind of grown into the job. I know he struggled last year. He got the start, but then there was, a little bit of a revolving door because they were trying to get some other guys some work in as well. And then as the offensive line deteriorated as the year went along, I think Kirk Francis, he was banged up. I think he lost some confidence, and then eventually he lost the starting job. So it wasn't a great season for him the way it turned out. But, Trey Lamb has put a lot of confidence in him. He has really, he gave him the offense. He won the job in spring. He beat out Tim Carpenter. It's been said pretty much from the start, Kirk's our guy. And I think that inspires a lot of confidence in Francis himself. It's going to be interesting to see. I think he throws a nice deep ball. He's not super mobile, but he can, get out of traffic and kind of keep plays alive. And those are the things that you're going to need. Now, Trey Lamb, in his previous, couple of seasons, last 2 seasons, he's relied heavily on a running quarterback. That's not Kirk Francis. So his offense is going to have to be geared a little bit differently than it has been the last several years. And we'll see how that manifests itself on the field. But with kind of some of the weapons they have around him, I think Francis is poised to have a good year. And I don't think there's I think he has universal support in the community. He's a hometown guy and people like him. And I think, people are rooting for him. So there's hope that, he's going to be, have a chance to break out this year.
Coach Lamb also seems pretty high on a brand new offensive line. A lot of portal, a lot of transfers up front for the Hurricane this year.
Yeah, they've totally rebuilt offensive line. He said, last Wednesday I was out at practice, and after practice he talked about his offensive line, how he thinks it's going to be a surprise to people and one of their better units. And so that's really bold talk for as badly as they played last year. Lamb he surrounds himself with people he's familiar with, and one of the a guy by the name of Jaquan Adams is going to be kind of that person on his offensive line, somebody who transferred over from East Tennessee State, so it gives him sort of a place of familiarity. Indar Aguilar, who was the only returning starter, I think he's going to be in their starting group. And then you've got a guy by the name of Cam East, who transferred from Ole Miss, who I think, as I may have mentioned in the preview, he's big enough to cover the East, West, North, and South. He's 6'7". He's hard to miss out there. And so I think they like the way these guys are. I mean, I know every head football coach loves his strength guy. And so Trey Lamb is no different in that regard. He really puts a lot of faith in the strength coach that he brought with him from FAU last year. And they've done a lot of work, all throughout the summer. They've done a lot of posting on social media of that work. He was really proud with the level of strength they gained in the off season. And we'll see if that manifests itself on the field. One of the things that I've seen just from the kind of time that I've been able to watch practice, and like I say, it's hard in practice. There's not, sometimes not a lot of contact. Sometimes guys aren't, defense isn't trying to tackle. They look like they might be able to run the ball. And if they can run the ball, that's going to open a lot of things up. That'll make it a lot easier for Kirk Francis. And if they can do that, they might be pretty good.
Defensive, let's talk about defensive side of the ball. A quick take on that. They lost 6 of their top 8 tacklers from last year. That may not be such a bad thing, as they gave up, almost 500 yards, over 42 points a game on defense last season. A lot of work to do on the defensive side.
Yeah, I know we're putting together our preview package for the Abilene Christian game, and I don't know that I even realized that they allowed almost 500 yards a game. I mean, that is so much. They were second to last in Division I in allowing plays of 20 or more yards. They were dead last in Division I in allowing plays of 50 or more yards. They were really bad on defense last year. Trey Lamb, earlier in fall practice, he thinks that his group of cornerbacks is going to be one of the best in the American Conference. That's good news. One of the things they haven't talked as much about is their offensive line. That's probably not good news. They didn't get a lot of push last year. They've got, once again, rebuilt with portal guys. A couple of the guys, one transfer from Pittsburgh, one transfer from Florida State, guys who didn't do a lot at the Power 4 level last year are going to kind of come down a little bit of a notch and see if they can be better this year. And that'll be interesting, but they're going to have to get some push to help the guys in the back end, because part of the issue they had last year with all the big plays is they didn't get a lot of push up front.
Michael Peters, Tulsa Road, TU beat writer, a lot of college football experience. Michael, thanks for joining us, and so for a good season for Coach Trey Lamb. I think everybody's cheering for him.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure, Chris. Thank you so much.
All right, we're going right back with, Pig Suey Razorback time. Talk about the Arkansas football team with Chuck Barrett, voice the Razorbacks, right after this final time out here.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
Wrap up our Oklahoma Sports Scene 2025 college football preview with the Arkansas Razorbacks. Who knows better than the voice of the Hogs himself? Chuck Barrett joins us, Hall of Fame broadcaster for Arkansas, starting his 19th season called Razorback football. Chuck, don't want to make you feel, congratulations, it's the Hall of Fame, though.
Well, thank you. That generally does mean you're getting old when something like that happens. But it was a great honor. And, man, I'm excited this week, and I know you are too, because we've got ball games.
Finally. Well, Sam Pittman starts his sixth season in Arkansas. I tell you, he's through the last 3 years, winning seasons. He's perfect 3-0 in bowl games, yet he always seems to be under attack. How's Coach Pittman holding up this season?
Well, I think like pretty much every college football coach in America. I mean, he's you're on the hot seat every time you go out there, and I'm sure that he's not any different from many of them in that respect. There's a lot of optimism going into this season, Chris. I mean, Coach Pittman's been pretty emphatic that he thinks he's got a good team. I've really not heard him talk like this since the 2021 season, and they were pretty good that year. They've revamped. They brought in a lot of new people, but they've got the same quarterback. And I think Hale Green's what gives them confidence.
Yeah, Taylor Green, his second season under the offensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino, who's quite a genius, too. Had a great season last year, and this guy's got a lot of talent, probably the best returning quarterback of all our Big Four area teams.
Well, he certainly got that potential. And, I'm going to be honest and tell you, last year, I was hoping that they'd do well enough, win enough games, that everybody could keep their jobs, and we'd have Petrino and Green for a second year. Because I've seen Coach Petrino before with second-year quarterbacks, and you go all the way back to his first tenure at Louisville. It was the second year when the numbers really shot up. And I would expect that to happen in the passing game this year. I'll be very surprised if it doesn't.
Yeah, Coach Pittman has a great reputation of pulling off the big upsets. Looking back, 22 wins as an underdog, 9 outright upsets, 19-14 home win, of course, number 4 Tennessee last year, where they tore the goalpost down at Razorback Stadium. That had to be one of the highlights, of course.
Well, it was probably the biggest point in the season, quite honestly. It's and it kind of goes back to coaches being on the hot seat, I guess. It's losing the games you're supposed to win that gets you fired. I look at, for example, Arkansas has got a game at Memphis in September. Even though Memphis is very good, won a lot of games. If you're a fan of an SEC school, you expect to win that game.
Yeah.
And so pulling off upsets is great. And Arkansas is going to, they'll be the underdog several times, I'm sure. But, I look at what's going on in September this year. Alabama A&M this week, then Arkansas State and Little Rock. But then you go on the road, back-to-back weekends, Ole Miss and Memphis. And Memphis is one of those games that even though it's not a conference game, for a lot of people, it'll be a barometer.
Chris, I really think for most Razorback fans, most disappointing loss of last season was Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
It wasn't an SEC game. It was the loss in Stillwater because they felt like Arkansas was better and should have won.
Yeah.
And didn't. And so those are the games you kind of look to sometimes with coaches. And when it's all said and done, you look back and go, yeah, it really wasn't the losses against the favorite teams that did them in. It was the losses against teams they were supposed to beat.
All right, 7 starters return on offense, 6 on defense. And your 8 top receivers are back from last year, but lost your top 4 running backs.
Yeah, there's been some turnover there. There's like 60 new guys on the team. So particularly in the areas of depth. Now, they've gotten some players in that I think are, they're counting on being impact players. They've got a running back from New Mexico State named Mike Washington, who they expect him to be the number 1 running back. And he's apparently won the job and will be the number 1 running back. They brought in some new receivers. Maybe not your prototypical, 6'6", long arms and legs type wide receiver, but little guys who make you miss. They've restocked in those areas, and they've also got new offensive linemen. They've revamped the offensive line. Like a lot of teams out there, they're going to be new up front. So there are a lot of new parts on offense. But again, the carryovers, the offensive coordinator and the quarterback. But there are going to be a lot of new faces offensively. It's going to be fun for fans, I think, because they're going to be learning about some new players. I'll have some new favorite players maybe this year.
All right, how about on the other side of the ball, the defensive side?
Travis Williams is a coordinator there. Arkansas was, probably middle of the pack, statistically middle of the pack last year in the SEC. The thing that they did not do real well was force turnovers. They were a solid defense, but, you got to force turnovers, and sometimes you got to score on that side of the ball. They've got really good linebackers, They've got a great leader on the defensive line, Cameron Ball. They brought in some new rush guys on the edge. But there are some holdovers, too, along the defensive line. They're bigger at corner than they've been. They felt like that was a point of emphasis going into the portals. We got to get some bigger corners, and they did that. I don't think this is going to be one of those shut-them-down defenses, honestly, Chris, but again, statistically middle of the pack last year in the league. That's good enough to win some games, but you got to force some turnovers. And I think that'll be a point of emphasis. I know it's a point of emphasis.
All right, take a look at 2025 Arkansas Razorback football schedule, and I got to have that date circled, of course, September 27th. Notre Dame comes to Razorback Stadium. Wow, that should be some kind of contest. If Hog fans go crazy.
That's going to be a fun game. I mean, Notre Dame's they're a major brand. I mean, when Notre Dame comes to your place, everybody pays attention. Arkansas's got 5 games in September, which means they'll play 4 of them before that game. You want to get to that game if you're Arkansas and have it be as big a game as you can be. By the same token, Notre Dame's got to go to Miami with a brand new quarterback. So it's not a layup that Notre Dame's going to be unbeaten when they come in here. So there's going to be some things happen in September. I mean, there are surprises. I don't know that either one of these teams will be involved in them. We'll find out. But, yeah, when you've got Notre Dame on campus, it'll be a big game. The only problem is because of TV, that one starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. So you'll have to get up and get ready.
Chuck Barrett, voice of the Razorbacks on his 19th season. I guess no question he'll be back for a 20th season in 2025. The big question is, will Coach Sam Pittman be back in 2025?
Well, that's always the question. And I think Arkansas is going to surprise some people this year. I think there are some weapons on offense that are going to help them score a lot of points. They may have to outscore a lot of points, or they may have to score a lot of points to win some games. But I think I still believe in Sam Pittman. I still pull for Sam Pittman. I think he's a good coach. I think there have been some things that have happened at Arkansas that have limited him. But They had a little more money to spend this year, quite honestly. And I hate to say it like that, but that's just kind of how it is. You either have money to spend and you have a chance, or you don't have money to spend and you really don't have a chance. And so they had a little more money to spend this year. And I think that'll be reflected on the field.
Chuck Barrett, hoist the Razorbacks. Have fun calling those Hogs this season here. Chuck, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you having me.
That rounds up our college football preview show. We'll come right back with the Remington Park Race Report from Oklahoma City with Dale Day.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The Remington Park season is in full swing. We've had a first mild upset of the meet, and we also have a red-hot jockey who is also setting turf course records. We will start with the upset, albeit a mild one, as two-time horse of the meeting, Miss Code West, made her first start this season. The feature allowance race on August 16th for Oklahoma Red females had Miss Code West as a heavy favorite at 1-5 odds, going 6.5 furlongs. They're off in the Saturday nightcap at Remington Park. 6.5 furlongs here. Quick start for Caleb's Lady with the blinkers on, showing the way early as they get to the backstretch. Kiss and Tell trying to follow, now moving up as well. Farther out, a move by Letta's Legacy, splitting rivals and taking the lead. It's Letta's Legacy, now on top by a half length over Kiss and Tell. Caleb's Lady by a head over Miss Code West, who stays wide and now starts to pick things up. Down inside fifth, only 3 back, is Nice Neighbor, and the trailer 5 lengths off of it is Okie Magic after an opening quarter in 22.59, just under a half mile to go. And up front, Letta's Legacy giving way to Kiss and Tell now. Nice Neighbor has emerged at the rail in third as they head into the turn. Letta's Legacy battling back now. It's Letta's Legacy on top by a half length. Kiss and Tell is second. Miss Code West trying to rev it up outside, staying clear wide, is about 3 back in third. Then Caleb's Lady, Okie Magic, and Nice Neighbor is at the back now. As they leave the turn, top of the stretch, Letta's Legacy showing the way. Kiss and Tell backing up. Miss Code West now asked for a run and has work to do. Furlong to go, race on. Letta's Legacy trying to pull the mild upset. Miss Code West continues to gain ground. Inside Caleb's Lady, a distant third. Letta's Legacy, too strong tonight. Will pull the upset. Letta's Legacy over Miss Code West. Letta's Legacy, ridden by David Cabrera, was on top of her game to defeat Miss Code West for the first time in their 5 races against each other. Letta's Legacy is owned, trained, and bred in Oklahoma by C.R. Trout. The victory gave Cabrera a riding triple on August 16th to wrap up the second week of the season. Cabrera came in hot for the third week of the season as he posted a 4-win night on Thursday, August 21st. The finale for that riding quadruple took place in race 9 over the turf. Now, next to last, leaving it to Illustrator. They bunch up, heading to the far turn, only 6 lengths, front to back. And Sonic Posse trying to go all the way on that front end. News at 9, outside, turning up the pressure a bit. Dropping backwards a tad, Kentucky Dawn. Here comes Spoiler moving up into third, midway through the turn. Aaron Needs Room, staying wide, Illustrator, and last and widest of all, that is Whiskey Not Wine. Quarter mile to go. It's been Sonic Posse all the way, there by length. News at 9, not catching up anymore, but here comes Spoiler to the outside. Also Illustrator and Kentucky Dawn trying to find a way through. Furlong left, race on in the nightcap. Sonic Posse on top, Whiskey Not Wine, News at 9 right there. Spoiler outside, Kentucky Dawn. Sonic Posse measures it perfectly all the way around to win it by 3/4 over Spoiler. Sonic Posse led throughout and poured it on late to hold off all challengers. That extra effort at the end helped him establish a new 7.5 furlong turf course record for the about distance of 1 minute, 29.74 seconds. The 4 wins Thursday catapulted Cabrera to the top of the Riders' standings. He won 3 more times on Friday, August 22nd. He now leads the standings with 14 victories. The weekly schedule at Remington Park has racing on August 28th, 29th, and 30th, Thursday through Saturday. The first race nightly is 6 p.m. Central. Coming up, the Thorough Enduro online contest is set to begin on September 11th. You can soon register online at remingtonpark.com. And mark your calendars for the only Sunday of the season coming up on September 28th, Oklahoma Derby Sunday, September 28th, first race then 3 p.m. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
Go right back to wrap up our final August Oklahoma Sportscene show. Look forward to September when we come back.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit remingtonpark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Next week, we'll wrap up the first full week of college football. More special features coming up. That's the Oklahoma Sports Scene. Until then, as we always remind you, be a good sport.